kind of doing this video out in the parking lot, but I was going to talk about what has happened in Warhammer the last little bit with this balanced data sheet, or 40K, Warhammer 40K in particular. I've played a couple RTTs, and I've won them both. I used Custodes, Lions of the Emperor, and then Wrath of the Rock with the Dark Angels, and I was going to play the old Raven Guard, and then I got sick and stuff, so I had to pull out of that one. But I wanted to really talk about, why does everybody think that shadowmark talon is such a big deal? The fact where we have to now nerf Sint devs and raise points cost on Athan Sean, which I actually think, okay, Athan Sean's probably a 100-point model, 95. Actually, if you look at like what Cato Sicarius can do in comparison, he doesn't attach to anything. He is lone op. He doesn't have any. In one detachment, he allows you to a little bit of CP economy on one strat if you decide to use it. So in shadowmark talon, you can use uppy downy and 0 CP. He rapid ingresses if you keep him off the board, but you're going to keep him on the board because you want to use the uppy downy strat. He is, with the sustain 2, that's pretty cool. Twin linked, lightning claws, but you look at Cato and all the reactive move, and flat 6 reactive move, attaches to a unit like the Victrix Guard, has 3 different weapons profile. In fact, one of them is very similar to like a Blade Champ. He reminds me of like a slightly toned down Blade Champion of, Custodes Blade Champion. But anyway, let's get into that attachment. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about this, because people keep mentioning they shouldn't, or certain individuals, Art of War is one of them, has mentioned that they shouldn't have the +1 to wound. And to me, it's like, if Shadowmark Talon doesn't get +1 to wound, why would Vanguard Spearhead? And hear me out on this one. I don't think there's that much difference. In fact, me personally, I kind of prefer Vanguard Spearhead. And because we can go, there's not that much difference, really. Only there's a couple of differences depending on how you're playing it. And I actually prefer, we got freaking always sirens now in this town. I actually prefer the way Vanguard Spearhead plays, especially after the balanced data sheet. One of the reasons I was going to run Shadowmark Talon is because Hunter's Instinct, 1, and then, I guess if you have a Phobos unit, you can do Advance and Charge, which you really need that. And then you have with a Phobos unit, the reactive move is straight 6. But many other, like if I was going to play Gladius and I wanted to run a Tactus unit and I can put them in tactical whatever, I can get a flat 6 reactive move there, which I can't get with a Tactus Marine, like a jump pack Marine if I take a captain, jump captain, and put them in Vanguard Vets. I get a D6 normal move, whatever reactive move in Shadowmark Talon. Now let's compare that to Vanguard Spearhead. Granted, it is still the same mechanics where it comes to whether there's a D6 or a flat 6 with the various units. It's in the charge phase, which I actually like that better. It kind of screws people up quite significantly, or they have to think about it a little bit more on their movement phase. It's just something that is unique to that detachment and is awesome. They should have kept it that way for Shadowmark Talon, but I actually prefer that one over the Shadowmark Talon regular reactive move. And plus, regardless, as a Raven Guard, lore, as a comparative to these other chapters, they should have a flat 6 reactive move, or flat normal move reactive move. They should just have it, or post fight phase reactive move, something like that, because they're supposed to be in the shadows, quick hit and run tactics, guerrilla tactics. That's what they're supposed to do. And that's why I also like Hunter's Instincts. It was like, okay, turn 1, rapid ingress, but that's a Raven Guard, quick, fast, whatever, hit. Now, to me, it's like, okay, now it's just a turn 1 deep strike. Maybe you put some restrictions on it to where it is like, I don't know, you can only utilize Phobos units. Okay, fine. Or jump pack units. You can only use it for jump pack. Something, I don't care. But they changed it, and they still want to take away the +1 to wound, or some people are advocating for that. To me, there's not that much of a difference, like I said, from Vanguard Spearhead to that, to take away that +1 to wound. We don't have the character base for that, nor the additional units outside of that. And the strat base isn't that much different than, like I said, Vanguard Spearhead. In fact, I think that Vanguard Spearhead having sabotage is one, and that's like nothing. If they FAQ'd it and it's all game, so every time you go take that thing back, even if the objective back, even if they come on there and take it over, it rearms, and that's 3 more. I've had that has been a game changer in a number of games because it psychs people out a little bit, especially if you have little trash units, scoring units, and you want to come on to objective. Well, here's possibly D3 mortal wounds, and then some, whatever I have sitting there to fight you with. And shadowmark talon doesn't have that. So when you're in shadowmark talon, you have to have, especially if you have something where the home objective counts, you better have intercessors, or you're going to have something sit back there. So, I mean, that's fine, because I like to run intercessors anyway, because they do have some good shooting. It's like, and then what else do they have? So, you have in Vanguard Spearhead, for a Phobos unit, redeploy enhancement. So you can shoot and move, which is really good. That's a good little Raven Guardish move, which they don't have that in Shadowmark Talon. That's gone. What they put in there? They put the Hunter's Instinct in there. So you still have the Infiltrate, which is money as well. I like that. But you don't have, now you just have turn 1 Deep Strike, which I actually still like, because I used, like when I use it in the Dark Angel stuff, I like it on certain units, so I'm not like too complaining about that. But I'm saying that for a Raven Guard ish, I'm saying that it wasn't so good that it needed to be nerfed, in my opinion. Yeah, turn 1 Rapid Ingress is kind of, I don't know, it's just basically generic Space Marines with Cave and Shrike and Aethan Sean, since Aethan Sean doesn't attach to anything, and Cave and Shrike only attaches to Vanguard Vets and then Jump Pack Intercessors, and he does turn them into Phobos units, so you can't advance and charge with them in there. But you can't, I mean, there's not much else you can do. You are putting in the Jump Captain with Vanguard Vets, maybe with pistols, or you're putting in Assault Terminators or regular Terminators. It wasn't so crazy. It's not like you had the character backing of Ultramarines chapter and being able to rapid ingress, like putting Deep Strike on the Murder Blob, Cal Guard, and Aggressors, or Vitrix Guard, and being able to rapid them turn 1. It's nothing like that. Now, if you want to run that whole block in Spearhead, you can still put those guys up into and infiltrate them, which is that's pretty spicy at times. But anyway, my point being is there's not that much difference, and in fact, part of me still favors Vanguard Spearhead. Outside, what does Shadowmark Talon have going for it? It does have a turn 1 Deep Strike. It does have Advance and Charge for Phobos units. And when you run that, you're probably going to run Aethan Sean, so you can do the uppy downy, which you have it in both Raven Guard attachments. You can do it for free. That's what you got there. But it's not that much of a game changer. I don't know why everybody lost their mind when this detachment came out to me. I was like, well, it's cool. It gives you a couple little other things you can do, but it's not that much game changing. And it's like the whole meta went away from, they hadn't seen Vanguard Spearhead in such a long time that when this came in, it was winning events and was doing well. But it wasn't, it was just because it was almost like Vanguard Spearhead renewed. So everything needs to adjust. The meta needs to adjust to it. And then hitting Scent devs now, hitting the scent devs, I don't understand that. 160, I say 165 is probably, maybe 170, that's probably good for them. But hitting them 175 and they'll probably go up again. Pretty much neutering that unit. But the only good they were is up. Granted, I did play them Dark Angels, and I just move them around. I put them in where I needed them, and then they just live there with good lines of fire. But with Vanguard Spearhead and Shadowmark Talon being able to move them around, either with those attachments, you can do that. So it's not like there's anything new with regards to them that has happened. It's like I said, it's like almost like Vanguard Spearhead. Everybody forgot about that detachment in the big meta or whatever. So when this came back around, it shocked people, I guess. But now you've kind of neutered that unit significantly, because I was like, well, what else can I take? I guess I can take Lancers again or something like that. But I don't know. And then you get, I'm running a little late on here. Otherwise, I'd talk about another detachment I think that everybody bashes on that I actually think is good is Lions of the Emperor and Custodes. We can talk about that. And then in the Dark Angel, I had some stuff on Dark Angels, but I'll talk about Lions of the Emperor in another video, because people are bashing the Custodes stuff, Art of War as well, but I've done really well with them, especially in Lions of the Emperor. And there's a reason for it, and there's a reason why people are not doing very well in that detachment, I think, is because they're underutilizing the unit that detachment kind of wants you to run. And anyway, I'll leave that there. Peace.